قال إني عبد الله.
I'll tell you when I started saying this. Almost 10 years ago, I went for Hajj. Alhamdulillah, is my first Hajj. And I happened to meet a sheikh there. I think he passed away last year in Medina. His name was Sheikh Ahmad Nakhuda. He was a Khalifa of Sheikh Zakaria. I met him in Medina. He's very pious. A friend of mine, his wife was pregnant, so they wanted to do tahniq from here. So he gave me the khajur and everything, gave me his address. He goes, ring him and pick you up. I went, mashallah, Sheikh lived outside Medina, very poverty-stricken area of Medina. If you've never seen, I'd never seen that side of Medina. I went and I met him. Long story short, we got talking. He said, I've come for Hajj. One thing he kept saying to, he was probably in his 70s, make dua for me, make dua for me. He did not ask for anything except one thing. And like I said, he passed away last year. He said, make dua, I pass away in Medina. And his words hit me so much that I made dua for myself. I made dua for him, I made dua for myself. And Allah granted his dua. He passed away in Medina last year. He spent all his life in South Africa, maybe like 10, 12 years, the last few years of his life. He moved to Medina. Then he sat me down and he opened Fadail Sadaqat. And I told him I'm from England, and he mentioned a few things. And then he raised a point with me which nobody had ever I've heard in any talk or book. He said to me, you're speaking in Urdu, he said, yahan hai na, Makkah mein, Medina mein, Hajj mein, har saal 2-3 million log aate hain. Which is true. 2.5 million, at least sometimes 3 million we hear. Because every year, 2.5 million people come for Hajj. I go, say it. He goes, ummat ki halat dekho. So 10 years ago, I'll be honest, I can't remember what was happening in the world. Maybe I think the Syria war had just started. Afghanistan was still going on. The Arab Spring maybe had started. There was a few things going on. So he mentioned it to me. Basically, ummat ki halat dekho. I said, yeah, it's very bad. He asked me, so then why doesn't Allah accept their du'as? The 2 million that come for Hajj. The point he's trying to make is, forget the 1 billion in the rest of the world. 2 million जो यहाँ आते हैं, मुबारक जगह में आते हैं, जमजम पीते हैं, हजर अस्वद पर दुआ मांगते हैं, मुल्तजम पर दुआ मांगते हैं, अरफात की दुआ, मीना की दुआ, मुल्तजम की दुआ. Why doesn't Allah accept it? So I thought, subhanallah, he's got a very good point. You know how I said earlier, some people say to me, Maulana, meri dua kabul nahi, hum to gunegar hai. Kabhi halal khaya, kabhi haram kiya, kabhi gunah kiya, kabhi kya kuch kiya. That's them people. What he's saying to me, the people who come for Hajj are purified. What's Hajj Mabrur? Hajj Mabrur is all your sins are wiped, and like the day your mother gave birth to you. So he raised this question to me, that why doesn't Allah accept this 2 million people dua? Baki ummat ko choro. What's the answer? Why? Why does Allah not accept the Hajji's dua? If you don't know, you'll be shocked, like I was shocked. I was waiting for his answer. Then he asked me, have you come alone in a group? So 10 years ago, obviously everybody used to go in groups. So I said, I've come in a group. He goes, theek hai, hotel ka khana khana. So I'm thinking, what does that mean? I want the answer why 2 million people's Hajjis is not accepted. He said, yahan log aate hai puri dunya se. Fir McDonald's mein khate hai. KFC mein khate hai. And he named all the American restaurants, mainly first. And then he said, even some of the others. He said, because they don't eat halal food. Now, I don't want it to go into a debate and a whole topic about Saudi chicken and stuff. My main point is about eating haram. This was a senior alim. Honestly, if you haven't heard his name, find out about him. Because when I came back, I told people this, and many people said, mashallah, he's a big buzrug, he's got books and stuff, and very well connected to Sheikh Zakaria. I'll be honest, if you've seen a picture of Sheikh Zakaria rahmatullah, when I saw him, he was very similar. His face, his features, he came out with a lungi on, he looked to me just like Sheikh Zakaria. And like I said, the advice he gave, you know, we were in Medina, so obviously after that our Hajj started. That 20 minutes I spent with him changed my whole Hajj. And I thanked the brother, the brother whose khajur I took for tahniq. I said, Wallahi, this is the best thing I did in Hajj, meeting Sheikh Ahmad. So his point was, log yahan aate hai, chalo, even if you believe the Saudi chicken is not haram, mashkook, doubtful. They eat doubtful food. And then they go to multazam dua mangte hai, Mina mein dua mangte hai, Arafat mein dua mangte hai, बाल कटवाते हैं, दुआ मांगते हैं, कुर्बानी करते हैं, दुआ मांगते हैं, मुज़दलिफा में जाते हैं, और कोई भी दुआ कबूल नहीं होती क्योंकि पेट में खाना हराम है. If you find these words harsh or shocking, ask somebody. Ask somebody who goes to Saudi Arabia regular, because that's what I did. All the ulama in Blackburn who go regular every year Hajj, now it's hard, but 10, 15 years ago, every year Hajj, I told them this story. Say, Hazrat ki baat sahi hai. Many of them actually said to me, when we go to Saudi, hum to sirf sabzi khate hai, vegetable. And I was shocked. They go, 10 din hum jate hai umrah mein, 12 din jate hai, kaun si bari baat, koi nahi mar jata if you have veg. Back to my original point about eating haram, and inshallah we'll finish off, I'm realizing the time. Eating haram is your number one reason your dua is not accepted, not your guna. It's not your guna. Now somebody could object and say, well, that is a guna, isn't it? Interest is a guna. The off license is a guna. Yes, but it's to do with haram earnings. So I'm saying general guna will not stop your dua from being accepted. And a final thing I've just remembered on this point. This story was narrated by Mufti Ahmad Khanpuri Saheb in Blackburn a few years ago. Maybe one of Hazrat's last visit in Nur Islam on the topic of haram. Everybody heard of the name Hajjaj bin Yusuf? Hajjaj bin Yusuf, yeah? Bloodthirsty tyrant. He killed many ulama, many sahaba, many tabi'een. And for that, that's why a lot of people stay quiet on him, because he did some good things as well before he passed away. So one of the things he did was the Arabs in the Quran. So all the Quran we read, he will be getting the reward. So his bad was really bad, but his good was really good. We will not question his character, but he was a bloodthirsty tyrant. He killed many, many senior tabi'een, tabi'een. So Hajjaj bin Yusuf knew that in Kufa, this is the story Mufti Ahmad Khanpuri said, in Kufa, Hajjaj bin Yusuf knew that there's a group of Sufis. Sufi people, the mustajabud da'wat. Does everybody know what mustajabud da'wat means? A person whose dua is always accepted. So these people definitely don't eat haram and they don't do haram. So they raise their hands and anything they make dua for, it will be accepted. Hajjaj knew that a time is going to come when they're going to make dua against him. Because obviously you should make dua against tyrants. Allah guide them or remove them. It's the same ruling as today. Whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim. If you have a tyrant ruler, you make dua, Allah guides them or removes them. So he knew his time is coming. Guess what Hajjaj did? He invited them for a meal. Dawat. And he fed them haram food. He fed them haram food. My question to you is, those Sufi Sahibs, did they know that the food is haram? Did they know? Obviously not. If they knew, they wouldn't have eaten it. So Mufti Ahmad Khanpuri said, isse ek masla ye nikla, कि अगर आदमी को पता भी ना हो कि खाना हराम है, फिर भी उसकी दुआ कबूल नहीं होगी. Because यही सऊदी का मसला जो है ना, लोग जाते हैं, मौलाना अभी आपने बताया, मैंने तो 10 साल पहले हज किया, मुझे क्या पता कि ये बर्गर किंग और क्या क्या KFC हराम है, McDonald's हराम है. And like I said, if you don't want to take the haram view, then doubtful is definite. Doubtful is definite if you speak to honest people there. So the people in the time of Kufa did not know the food is haram. Hajjaj knew, I am safe. So through their badduas, he didn't die. So the point of haram is very important. If a person really feels that Allah doesn't accept my duas, and many people question nowadays. If you ask somebody like me, you ask Imam Sahib, sadly it's one of the most common questions. कि बस वजीफा पढ़ कर थक गए, हम कुरान पढ़ते हैं, रोजा रखते हैं, मौलाना नफिल सदका करते हैं, अल्लाह दुआ ही कबूल नहीं करते. The question is why? अल्लाह ने सहाबा की दुआ कबूल की, ताबीन, ताबीन, बड़े उलमा की दुआ कबूल की. कभी साल लग जाते हैं. Yeah, many of the ulama of the past, their du'as didn't get accepted for years. And some of them, they would say, the Salafi Salihin, I've been asking for 20 years. That's one quote I read in a book. 20 years. That's like half my life he's been asking. 20 years I've been asking. Allah has not given me and I've not given up. तो जो लोग मौलवी साहब को फोन करते ना 20 दिन के बाद कि मौलाना 20 दिन हो गए रमजान के अभी तो दुआ कबूल नहीं होगी. The people of the past, and the people of the past were more pious than us, were more righteous. They waited 20 years and they didn't give up.